morning, as we give a voice to victims, we're remembering Kansas City paramedic Graham Hoffman on the day of his funeral. And we're also trying to understand how he could be stabbed in the back of his ambulance, allegedly by a patient. Here's the suspect, 38-year-old Shanetta Bossell. She's charged with first-degree murder, and according to police, this isn't the first time that she's attacked a first responder. But before we get to that, reporter Charlie Keegan from Scripps News Kansas City has more on how Hoffman is being remembered.
One of the best.
Graham Hoffman's smile stands out right away. Friends tell me he could balance being goofy and serious. His serious side helped him come across as a leader at KCFD's Station 42. One battalion chief called him the epitome of a firefighter.
People who love this job, love helping the community. You feel like this is what you were born for.
Hoffman started his career in Belton. The department shared these photos in a post, calling Hoffman a genuine soul who was kind, soft-spoken, and witty. He brought those traits to KCFD.
Graham was a vibrant individual who loved life and loved serving his community. He was an excellent paramedic who treated his patients with the highest level of skill and compassion.
Outside of work, Hoffman loved to travel. At work, leaders say Hoffman's the person you'd want at your emergency, a person who will be honored for his dedication to serving.
I've talked to too many moms, talked to too many partners, talked to too many dads, and did that again today. And they have and had a bright, exceptional young man who should be going out on another shift, and it's tragic that he won't be.
May Graham Hoffman be resting in peace, and may his family be comforted knowing he contributed so much to this world in the 29 years that he was here. Let's talk about this some more. Let's talk about what happened on that day, and let's talk about this suspect who's accused of murdering him. I want to bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor David Bruno. David, I want to show you the charges against this woman. In addition to first-degree murder, she also, according to police, tried to steal the ambulance after the stabbing, got into the driver's seat and tried to get away with the ambulance. So we've got the attempted theft of the automobile, and we've also got an assault on a police officer, because when an officer tried to arrest her, they say she bit that officer. Now, backing up a little bit, back just a couple days before this incident, she was arrested for biting another police officer. So she had a felony assault. This was on, I believe, April 23rd, if my memory serves me correctly, and the judge gave her a $10,000 bond. She bonded out, and then just a couple days later, 3 days later, this incident occurs, where we have another biting, allegedly, and in a killing, the stabbing of Graham Hoffman. David, a lot of people wondering, how in the world does somebody have a felony assault on an officer charge pending and get such a low bond? Your thoughts on what happened at that magistrate court?
Look, this is part of the conversation, is this criminal justice process. And a lot of states, including New Jersey, where I practice in, have gotten away from monetary bail and focusing on risk assessments. And oftentimes we don't want to be holding people just because they can't make bail. But you bring up a great question. And certainly because of what happened after her release, she continued her crime activity. And not only that, killed a first responder. And I agree, too, with the package in the sense that this is a hero that was killed here. And a lot of people are running away from these types of emergencies when our first responders, our police, our firefighters, our EMTs and EMS paramedics are running and going to the emergencies. And any person that goes on, like a shift like this, their purpose, their goal, hopefully they are going home. You know, I was a former prosecutor in the law enforcement community. The key is go home. And the same is for our EMTs and firefighters. And this could have been prevented. You know, it's very, very difficult to prevent things like this. But again, the conversation about release And detention needs to continue to protect our public.
It sure does. You hit on something so key. I knew you would, David Bruno, and that is, you said risk assessment, right? And so going back to the magistrate judge and everyone who was in that room, you know, the prosecutor, you know, presumably, you know, defense attorney. So we have a woman coming up, and you see on the rap sheet, no previous felonies, but you see recently there's the pending charge of the felony assault, and it's biting of a police officer. Right there, if I was that magistrate judge, I would say she needs a mental health evaluation immediately. Anybody who's biting, have her evaluated. David, what troubles me is that there probably wasn't even time for an eval with a bond so low, right? Like, I can't even imagine in those couple of days, because then it was the weekend. This happened like at the end of last week and then up toward the front of this week, or the days in between. That's what really gets me, is that with a bond that low, like, I can't imagine a doctor got to her and that she was ordered to comply with any treatment. I'd love your thoughts on that in terms of the importance of it in assessing the risk of someone like Shanetta Bossell.
Yeah, so if a psychological evaluation is ordered by the court, it's going to be a condition of the release. It's not going to be that it has to happen after, obviously, because when these concerns are brought to the court's attention, they're going to want to make sure that the safety of the public is protected. Generally speaking, when the judges, prosecutors are evaluating release, it's really of three things. Number one, are they a risk to leave, to not come back? Are they a flight risk? Number one. Number two, is there a risk to destroy evidence? And number three, is there a risk to the public? And the lack of history, Julie, while I do understand that the biting is troubling conduct, the lack of criminal history was very important, I'd imagine, for the court and the release, because it was a first-time offender. And that happens, too, when first-time offenders come before the court. They should get some benefits to that as well. And I think probably everybody was looking at that as one of the primary reasons for release.
Sure. Excellent analysis. David Bruno, thank you so much. And as we go to break, we want to remember 29-year-old Graham Hoffman, that firefighter and paramedic who was so dedicated to serving the people in the city that he loved so much. He was working overtime on the day that he was murdered. Gone far too soon, and his legacy will live on.